Good day, grade 7s. I hope you are all fine and well today. We're going to start our lesson now. But before we're going to start, as usually, I give you a minute or two and you can say hello to each other on the chat group. I can see there's already people starting to talk to each other, but you're more than welcome to say hello. Then just the rule again as well. As soon as we're going to start moving to start the lesson, then please don't chat anymore on the chat group unless you have a question about the work that we are doing. I don't know if there's maybe new people that logged in today. Then if there are new people, then you will see there on the first slideshow, there is my details, my name, my email address and cell number if you need to get hold of me. And then people, again, remember, I've given you homework about that poster that you need to design for next week. So don't forget about that. And if there are new people, you are actually going to write a very, very, very small test later on in this lesson, but I think you should be fine. Right, people, so we're going to start with our lesson for today. Okay, we are basically finished with the entrepreneurship. That was our previous topic, although, as I said, you're going to write a small test later on. So first we're going to do today's lesson, and we are going to start moving to the financial accounting part. So we are going to look at accounting. But in grade 7, you really just do the basics. So actually, you're more concentrating on the concepts of accounting as to physically do it. But let's see, what is accounting? It is the process or the work of keeping financial accounts. So let's say there's always going to be a transaction that is going to happen. That transaction you need to keep a record of. So you're going to complete, for instance, documents. And those documents you're going to use to continue to complete the accounting books of a business. We actually talk about journals. But that is something that you're actually more going to do in grade 8. In grade 7, you just concentrate on the basic concepts. So just again, what is accounting? The process or the work of keeping financial accounts. Right, now, there is a very important slideshow that you're going to see there. There are a few of the concepts and an explanation of each of them. So we're going to work through them. Right, so let's start with the first one. And that is going to be assets. So what is assets? You need to know the definition. Assets is the items that have value and are owned by the business. For example, vehicles, equipment, trading stock, and buildings. So again, if you think for yourself, as you sit there, I don't know where you're sitting, but let's say you're sitting in your sleeping room or wherever, it doesn't matter. Look where you are sitting around, and then you start to see what assets can you see in that specific room. For instance, where I'm sitting, I can tell you guys, I'm seeing, okay, right, I've got the laptop in front of me. That is an asset. I'm sitting in my bedroom, so there's a bed there, so that is an asset. I can see there's a fan, for instance, that is an asset. Basically, I want to say anything that you can see and touch that has a value, that is an asset. Okay, so it's the items that have value and are owned by the business. And please, please, you must remember these examples that is there in front of you. Very important that you need to know this, because this is going to be accounts that you're going to work with. Okay, somebody's asking if you should copy the blog, right? It's not necessary that you copy it, because afterwards they put all these PowerPoints on YouTube and all those things where you can go back to find the information as well. All right, so you don't have to write it off. So just going back to assets, remember the examples is vehicles, equipment, trading stock, and buildings. There are more of them, but that is the important ones that you should know in grade 7. Right. Then the next concept is capital. So what is capital? It is the money or goods and property a business can use to make an income through the activities of the business. Now, in most cases, you will see capital as money, all right? Yes, of course it is money, but it is not only money. It can be goods and property as well. Things that have a value, you can go and, let's say, sell those goods again to get some money in, and that can be seen as capital. Then we have liabilities. Liabilities is money owned by the business to other people or other businesses. So let's say you give me a few rand. So there was a loan between me and you. Okay, you give me the money. I need to pay that money back to you. And then that will be an example of a liability. So liability is money owned by businesses to other people or other businesses. Then we get to income. Right, income is all the money that the business earns. So all the money that's coming in the business is going to be your income. And then I give you more examples there. Again, important, like with assets, remember these examples. It is rent income, service fees, commission income. There are more of them, but again, these are the important ones that you need to know in grade 7. Rent income, service fees, and commission income. I'm going to repeat all these things quickly, okay, before we're going to continue. So let's just repeat those first 4 first. Assets, okay, what is assets? Remember, assets is things that you can see and touch, like equipment, trading stock, buildings, vehicles. It's items that have a value and are owned by the business. Capital, right? That's the money or the goods and the property a business can use to make an income, meaning if they have a property, they can sell that property to get some money in. Then liabilities. Liabilities is money earned by the business to other people. Okay, I can see these people struggling to hear. Everything is quite on my side correct. Is there more people that is having a problem there that cannot hear properly? It doesn't look like that. Okay. There's just somebody that was saying assets are also things that people own, right? Or wrong, ma'am? You are absolutely right. Assets are things that belongs to people. So again, think in your room. What in your room belongs to you? And that is going to be an asset. We are actually later on going to look at an example of a grade 7 learner and his room and what assets is going to be in his room. Right, so I've repeated assets and capital. So I'm just going to repeat liabilities. Liabilities is money earned by the business to other people or other businesses. So somebody owes somebody money, that's a liability. And income is all the money that the business earns. For example, rent income, service fees, and commission income. So all the money that's coming into a business is seen as income. Then expenses, we're going to continue. Okay, so expenses is a payment for services and consumable goods that the business buys in order to keep the business running. So anything that you need to pay for the business, so the money is going out of the business bank account, can be seen as an expense. For example, you need to pay your workers' salaries. That is an expense. You need to buy some stationery and pay for it. It's an expense. You need to pay the water and electricity bill or the telephone bill. Then that is an example of an expense. So anything that you pay, it's for services, for goods, for products, etc., that is going to be seen as expenses. Then the next one is drawings. Okay, this one you must please remember. This is when the owner of a business is taking money for his own use. Okay, and this is sometimes happening in a business. So for instance, let me give you an example. Let's say the owner is in the business and it's quite late the evening already. And then he remembers, oh my gosh, he needs to pay his children's school fees tomorrow morning. What he is doing, he's taking some money there out of the till. So he's taking money for his own personal use to go and pay the school fees the next day. But the school fees has actually nothing to do with his business. Okay, so it's for his own personal use. Remember these words, for his own personal use. And that is called drawings. So again, drawings is when the owner of a business is taking money for his own personal use. Then transactions. Transactions is a financial action or an event that takes place in a business. So let's say you are selling a product to me, then that is basically a transaction that is happening between the two of us. Source documents. Each transaction must be written into a document where the date, the name of the person, the amount, the signature, etc. must be given. And that will be called a source document. Now you get different source documents, okay? Let's say, for instance, your mother pays the school fees at the school. What does the lady in the office do? She takes the money and she writes a small piece of paper out, what we call the receipt. That receipt shows that as proof that your mother has paid the school fees, and that receipt is a type of a source document. So what details will be on that receipt? There will be today's date, for instance. Your mother's name will be on it. The amount that your mother paid is going to be on it. And the person that received the money will normally sign the document. Then profit. Profit is the money a business makes after taking all the income and the expenses. So basically, your income minus your expenses is going to give you the profit. And remember, the main goal of all businesses is to make some money, to make a profit. So I'm going to repeat the last ones that we've done now from expenses. So expenses is a payment for services and consumable goods that the business buys. So for everything that you pay, if you pay the water electricity bill, or you pay the telephone bill, or you pay the workers' salaries, then that will be expenses. Drawings is when the owner of a business is taking money for his own personal use. So if the owner is taking money out of the till for himself, it has nothing to do with the business, then we call that drawings. Transactions is a financial action or an event that takes place in a business. So normally when, let's say again that you are a plumbing business and you need to go and correct some pipes or taps or whatever for a client, and then that is going to be a transaction that is going to happen between you and the client. Source documents, right? That is, there are different ones, but this is where you're going to write each and every transaction on, indicating like the date of the transaction, the name of the person, signature, the amount that was involved, etc. And profit is the money that the business makes after taking all the income and the expenses. So your income minus your expenses is going to give you your profit. So again, this is because the next slideshow we're going to actually repeat it again, but it's so important, guys, that you need to know these concepts and what the meaning of them are. Because normally, like in a test or an exam, they will give you the concept and then they will tell you you need to give the definition of the concepts. Right, on the next slideshow, what I've done there is I've put some pictures in for you. So maybe this will also help you to understand the concepts. So the first one you will see is assets, okay? Now, again, you see the picture of a panel van, a computer, a building. So that is examples of assets, okay? Assets, remember, is things that has a value that you own. So you own a vehicle, so vehicle is an asset. You have a laptop that is yours, then that is going to be an asset. On the right-hand side, you will see there's a picture of some money, and we all wish we can have some money, hey? So capital is not just money, it can also be the property or the goods that you have, but you can sell them again to make some money. That can also be seen as capital. Then we have liabilities there on the left-hand side bottom. You will see there in the calculator, it's showing the word loans. That is an example of a liability. That means one person is owing money to another person, or one business is owing money to another business. And then on the right-hand side bottom, we have drawings. And what is drawings again? I told you, you must remember that concept. This is when an owner takes money for his own personal use. So see that little man with the money in his hand? He's taking money from the business, but for himself. And that we called drawings. Right, before we're going to continue with the next pictures, is there any questions, especially about these four concepts that you see in front of you? Assets, capital, liabilities, and drawings. Okay, it doesn't look like that, so we can continue. Right, and there is the next four pictures. So there on the left-hand side top, you can see a very happy owner of a business there because he is receiving money in his business. So all the money that's coming into a business is going to be seen as the income of the business. On the right-hand side top, it's expenses. Right there, you can't maybe quite see what is standing there, but I'm going to indicate to you. In this case, the business, the first small picture is rent. So the business is renting a building and he needs to pay monthly rent. Okay, he needs to pay monthly rent. The next one is repairs. This is where the business needs to do some repairs to a vehicle and he needs to pay for the repairs. The next small picture, there's insurance. Okay, so every business, every month, they need to pay the insurance premium on the business. The next one there is rates and taxes. Every business has to pay rates and taxes. And so you go on. The last one, for instance, is power and fuel. So every business has to pay the fuel for the vehicles that you have in the business. So every time you have heard the word pay. So expenses is anything that you pay out of the business account. Then there on the left-hand side, again, bottom, we have transactions. You can see two people shaking hands there. Okay, so every time that a transaction happened between people is, for instance, where you're going to sell a product to something, or you're going to render a service to somebody, then a transaction is taking place between you two. On the right-hand side bottom, there you have source documents. Now, there are quite a few, but I've just put one example of a source document there. You will see it's a cash voucher. Every transaction that took place, those info need to be written onto a source document. What type of information will you get on a source document? It will be like the date of the transaction. What was the transaction all about? I can see in this case, it looks like postage and stamps was purchased. What was the amount of it? And normally somebody will sign this source document. So again, this is on this page. If there's any questions about these four concepts, you're more than welcome to ask. We've got income, we've got expenses, we've got transactions, and we've got source documents on this slide. I can see some people again say that they can't hear. I can't think because so far everything is quite going very well fine on my side. Make sure that your sound volume is also correct on your side, please. Right, doesn't look if there's any questions. So we're going to continue now, and you will see there's an activity that we're going to look at. And this is about this guy that is a grade 7 learner. So let's read what is standing there. David is a grade 7 learner. He would like to draw up a list to see how wealthy he is. He has looked around his bedroom to decide what belongs to him. His parents told him that certain assets are his, such as his bed, table, and chair. He also owns other things, assets, which were either birthday presents or items bought with his pocket money. These are the items he now has in his possession. Right, now they give you an indication of what is in his room. Furniture, okay, furniture means it's like his bed and the chair and the table and so on, and it has a value of 2,300 Rand. Then there's a radio with a CD player with a value of 550 Rand. There are some cash in his wallet, not a lot, only 50 Rand. Then he has clothes of a value of 3,000 Rand. And also books with a value of 200 Rand. And then they say in his savings account in the bank, he got 600 Rand. So all of these things are assets. It all has a value. Now, I'm going to add it up quickly. I just want to get it on my phone, the calculator, and then we're going to see what is the value of these assets, the total assets. So again, we said the furniture in his room is 2,300 plus his radio with a CD player is 550 plus the cash in his wallet is 50 plus the clothes has a value of 3,000 plus books of 200 Rand plus the amount in his savings account in the bank is 600. If you add it up, people, you get a total of 6,700 Rand. So David, the value of his assets is 6,700 Rand, and he's only a grade 7 learner. So actually what I want you for fun that you can do, okay, is go and lie down your bed in your bedroom, and then you think for yourself, okay, I've got a bed in my bedroom. What is the value of that bed? And you write it down. And then maybe you have a table and a chair there, and plus minus what you think the value is, and you write it down. Same with clothes. Maybe you also have a hi-fi or a radio or something in your room. Think if you have money in your wallet, if you have a savings account at the bank, how much is in there, etc. Write all those values down, add them up, and I promise you, you're not going to know what is happening if you see what is the value of your assets that you have, and you are only a grade 7 learner. All right. So because it's almost now the test time, So before we're going to continue, let's just quickly revise on what we have so far. So I'm just going back to, especially to the concepts. Okay, as I said, we're going to start doing the accounting concepts today. We have looked at a few of them. We have done assets, okay, in short, items that have a value, things that you can see and touch. Capital, okay, that's basically money, goods, and property that a business can use to make some money with. Liabilities is when somebody owes somebody else some money. Income is all the money that the business earns. Expenses is all the payments that a business must do. Drawings is when the owner of a business is taking money for his own personal use. Transactions is a financial action or event that takes place between, let's say, you and another person or between two businesses. Source documents is a document where every transaction must be written on the details, and profit is the money that the business is making. All right, any questions so far on today's work? Then we're going to move to the small test that you're going to write. So I hope you've got a pen and a paper ready there. I'm going to give you, there's the questions, only the 5 questions, and then I'm going to give you some time to do this. So question 1 is, what is a business plan? Question 2, mention the contents of a business plan. Question 3, which part of the business plan will indicate figures and graphs and profits made? Question 4, which part of the business plan will contain the advertising of a business? And question 5, what is the last part of the business plan? So what I'm going to keep the questions now on. So all that I want you to do is you write there on a piece of paper number 1 and just the answer. You don't have to write the question. Then number 2, and what is the answer? 3 and the answer, and so you go on. So let's see, I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you almost 10 minutes to do this. Okay, so you need to hurry up and write down the answers on those questions. If there's anything that you need to ask that you don't understand, you can in the meantime put the questions in the chat box, or even when you've done writing these questions, the answers, then you can maybe just indicate in the chat box that you are done. All right, so I'm going to give you a few minutes. While you're busy, I'm just saying, remember, if you've got a question, put it in the chat box, or if you finish, just say they're done. That will help me to indicate how you are doing. I'm going to give you about 5 more minutes. Right, people, we need to continue. So what we're going to do is you're going to mark your own test now, all right? Done or not. Um, we're going to say the test is going to be out of 10. Okay, so with every question, I will tell you how many marks it will be. Okay, so we're going to start marking it. The answers I'm going to show to you. Right, so there is the first one. What is a business plan? All right, now here you have to see what you have written. Your words don't have to be exactly like mine, but the meaning of it must be the same. All right, for 2 marks. Okay, so what is a business plan? A business plan is a formal written document. If you put something about a written document, that will be good for 1 mark, containing business goals the methods on how these goals can be attained, and the time frame within which these goals need to be achieved. So if one point, if you have something about a written document, and if you have something about the goals must be in there, or the financial position of the business must be in there, yeah, then you can give you another mark. So 2 marks there for question 1, what is a business plan? Question number 2, does it mention the contents of a business plan? Now, for 5 marks, okay? So as long as you have 5 things there, then you can give you the 5 marks. So either it's going to be the cover or the front page, index, description of product or services, ownership, marketing plan, production plan, financial plan, and the summary. Okay, I think I've counted very quickly. I think there's about 7 or 8 of them, but as long as you have mentioned just any 5, you can give yourself 5 marks there. That is the contents of a business plan. Right, question 3. Which part of the business plan will indicate the figures and the graphs and all those things? Definitely that will be your financial plan for 1 mark. So question 3, your answer can only be financial plan, 1 mark there. So just, sorry, I just want to go back. So question 1, 2 marks. Question 2, 5 marks. Question 3, 1 mark. Right, then we go to question 4. Which part of the business plan is about advertising? There's only one answer, and that is the marketing plan, also for 1 mark. So question 4, marketing plan, 1 mark. And then the last question, question 5. What is the last part of the business plan? Also only one answer there, and that is the summary. The summary of a business, also just for 1 mark. And then you can add up and see how much did you get out of 10. I'm just going to show you the previous slide and then this one again, because there might be some people still marking. So then I'm going to say question 1 was 2 marks. Question 2, 5 marks. Question 3, 1 mark. Question 4, the marketing plan, 1 mark. And then the last question 5, the summary of a business, also 1 mark. And that is great that some people's responding in the chat box saying how much out of 10 they have. Can the others also put it there for us? That's good to see. I'm just going to give a few seconds so everyone can finish up. It sounds like a lot of you got the last question wrong. So I just want to look at the last question again. What is the last part of the business plan? Okay, if you go back onto yesterday's it was yesterday's PowerPoint, then you will see you always end off with the summary of the business, a small paragraph where you just summarize basically what your business is all about and how it is going to work. All right. Okay, overall, I must say, people, you have done not too bad. Okay, I'm very happy with the marks that you have indicated to me in the chat box. So well done. You can be proud of yourselves. Otherwise, that is going to be it for today. I think we have done great work for today. I mean, you have written the test and we have done some new work. So well done to you guys. I just want to say I hope you all have a great weekend. Go and rest. Otherwise, please log in on Monday again. If there was new people, I just want to say you might missed out if you're not logging in a day. So please, people, as far as possible, log in every day so you can see what's the work about, that you can know if there is homework, what it is going to be. But otherwise, have a great weekend, people, and then I will see you guys on Monday again. Goodbye.